What is happening?
You're live.
I am so glad to see some smiling faces in person. You know how long it's been? I do. October.
Yep.
October. I had to look it up today because I thought it was November and I was like, nope, it was October. November's when they made their new rules, which is what killed our Christmas party and everything. Therefore, and supposedly they're still in effect, but they said we can do it. So I said, all right. Not that we have much more than 10 here anyway, if we even do. So I think everything's under control. How's everybody doing?
Great.
You guys have been crushing it. I know I got like, mostly everybody I was talking to was responding today saying, oh, I'm going to stay home. I'm going to stay home. I'm going to stay home. So hello to everybody at home. But everybody wanted to stay home. But I know that there was a core group of you guys that are like, screw that, I want to come out in person. So that's exactly the way that I felt. So there's a couple deals that I don't know about yet that I wanted to ask you about. I started to ask you. You have a seller that's all set to close and he's ghosting now, right? And so you're going to record it against the property and see if he surfaces. And Jay, you just told me when you came in, and I love that you're growing your hair back now. I get to recognize you better. For a while, you had it cut down, and I was like, who is that? Oh, wait, that's Jay. I didn't recognize him without his hair. Your rehab just closed today?
Yep.
Congratulations. Congratulations. That's fantastic. And I know you don't have your HUD yet, you said, but do you have an idea of how much you're netting on?
Netting around 30 to 40, I think.
All right, well, that's a good spread there, 30 to 40, but
Well,
yeah.
I gotta look at the numbers. So.
Wait till you get your numbers. So that, I don't know if you guys remember that, if this is the same house, I believe I'm talking about, that we went to, and you bought that sub 2, right? You bought it sub 2, then rehabbed it and put it on the market and sold it. So I think that's fantastic. I just wanted to discuss a couple other deals. Again, nobody's here, but you guys are at home. John closed another one yesterday that he did not tell me the exact numbers yet, but I'm 99% sure it was 33 grand. And John, if you're watching, or you see in comments, if you're watching, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was 33. And he did, what was it last month, a 30,000 and plus a couple small ones. Tommy and Toogie did a $45,000 rehab. Well, actually, it was a $90,000 rehab, but they parted with their contractor. So not that there's anything wrong with that. It was fantastic. How you doing? And they parted with their contractor on it, so they made 45 grand on it, which is phenomenal for a rehab. That's a really, really good spread on it. Before we move on to the next one, I wanted to tell you something about the one that they got. What I really liked about it is they got it from a house that they recognized as a distressed property and constantly sent them notes, left notes on the door. It was vacant for a while. They skip traced the owner and then finally got somebody to call them back, and they ended up doing the deal on them. It took a while to get it, and then it took a while for the rehab, but ended up with a $45,000 profit on it. April got her first slow flip, but she's not here. I'm not sure if she's coming. If you might be online, April, congratulations on that. She got her first slow flip and filled it herself. And it's so far, it's only been, I guess it's its first month, but she got $3 grand down, $875 a month. And she bought that actually from someone in the group. That one was over on Manley Street, where I think probably 5 people have one on the same street. How you doing? Kirk and Tammy. You guys, these guys are just on fire. So we were pushing, I don't know if you guys saw or not, we were really, really pushing for them to break a $100,000 a month in January. And they did not make it, just not because of the numbers, but because of the timeline, because we couldn't get it done in January. But you did 2 wholesales in January and 1 rehab. So it was like 12, 13, and 45, if I'm correct. And then you had another one that we were trying to squeeze it in to get it signed by January 31st, so we could have done $100,000 a month, but you did get it signed, just not in January, and you have already assigned that, correct?
That is correct.
And how much was that one going to end up being?
38.
$38,000. So you far exceeded your $100,000 a month if it was all pushed into the 30 days, but that's fantastic. Congratulations.
Yeah, that's terrible.
So Mark's not here. I want to tell you about a deal that Mark did, and this is interesting. Mark got his first, he's done other deals, but his first one that we've done together, and it was a small check. It was $4,750. But it was really interesting about why I want to tell you the story about what happened with this deal. We went on the appointment. The guy came in from out of town. He was only meeting with us and one other person. He told us what he wanted. It was a little more than we were able to do. We didn't want to compete. We didn't know how high it was going to go. But as we're leaving, the other investor pulled up. And it's somebody that we knew, somebody that I know for years. So anyway, so we just left. And then the other guy went on his appointment. But then rather than us competing, and cutting each other's throats, I just text them and I said, hey, instead of us competing, one of us wins, one of us loses, more than likely we both lose, right? What happens when you compete? We both end up going up, 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 and we both end up losing. Whoever wins makes $50. Or I said, well, let's just buy it and we'll split it. And that's exactly what we did. So we bought it, we wholesaled it, split it. So he made $47.50 on it, which was still, I mean, hey, it was a deal that we likely wouldn't have got otherwise. Or if we did get it, there was going to be no money left, because once you get into competing, it's tough to make it profitable. So that turned out pretty good. The last one, and I know there's more, and I don't know everybody's deals, but I really, this one, I just love the story. And this is Alex's deal. Yours closed, by the way. The check should be ready tomorrow. So Alex's deal, I love the story of it. And you know, every deal has a story, and that's why I love talking about deals, because every deal, every seller, every house has a story behind it. But I love Alex's story so much, because the first time I even heard part of this story, we were on an appointment, then we were sitting in the car, and Alex was telling me all the different things he's been doing, right? And then one of the things he says, well, I've been doing the Gorilla cards, but the only call I got was a guy who said, you know, oh, I picked it up, I thought it was real, but my grandkids, would you mind sending me some of these for my grandkids to play with? I think they'd really like them. Am I telling the story correct? Yeah. And so he actually sent him an envelope with 10 Gorilla cards in it. And he was telling me the story. He's like, the only one I got, some guy who doesn't even want to sell anything, but he wants them to play with his grandkids. He's like, so I send it to him. And I remember even thinking that day, I'm like, I wonder if I would have done it. You know, I wonder if I would have sent it to him. He's not interested in anything with real estate. He just wants them to play with. Now I definitely would. But anyway, so anyway, I don't know if it was a week or a couple weeks or a month go by, and then the guy calls, and he does have a house for sale, which is like, what are the odds of this, right? So the guy does have a house for sale. He goes over and does his full analysis, makes an offer on it. He called other investors as well. And if you guys know, when you're competing with the open market, now mind you, I'm not talking about professional people. I'm not talking about people that have been trained. I just mean when the whole world's coming out, they make ridiculous offers, right? So your initial offer, I think was like 70 or 68 or somewhere in that ballpark, correct? Somebody came and offered 135, right? 125, 135. And so he tells him, sorry, you know, I got this way high offer. I saw it on Facebook and I even sent it to you. And I was like, well, some guy's pitching it for like 140. I'm like, it's not even worth 140 renovated. But you know, wholesalers, sometimes they'll just offer anything because they just want the contract on it. So anyway, so that plays out its natural course. And then clearly it's not going to close. We knew it the second I saw it. I'm like, well, there's no way this guy's actually buying it. All he did was aggravate the seller. But who does the seller love more than anybody? The guy who did this just purely out of the goodness of his heart, sent him these things. So he calls him back, and then they negotiated somewhere from, I think you started at like 68 or ish, I don't remember. Several thousand more. And ended at 75-ish, and then ended up wholesaling it for 90. So you're making like $15,010, something like that. But I love the story of that because of where it came from, because it came from Gorilla Cards, which I love any Gorilla Card deal to begin with. But I absolutely love the story of, it wasn't even somebody calling off the Gorilla Card. It was somebody saying, would you mind mailing me some of these? My grandkids would love to play with them. So congratulations on that, because I was even thinking about it. My wife kept saying, she's like, don't say that. I'm like, I don't even know if I would have done it, if I would have mailed them. You know, taking the time to put it in an envelope and a stamp and mail them. And then she was like, don't say that. I said, well, I'll definitely do it now. If someone calls for the same situation now, I have some context to it. I'll definitely do it now. But I absolutely, congratulations on that, because I just love the story. And the other thing is, and we're going to talk about this in a second, in September, we were talking about doing marketing consistently and doing the 90-day plan. And we were talking about it, and you guys were doing it, and Alex did. And I think you guys may have all done it, but didn't continue to send the stuff. So out of everybody, I think there was only 2 or 3 people, correct me if I'm wrong, Kevin, 3, that actually was doing it and sending the stuff. And I remember when I sat down with you that day in your car and you were showing me everything you were doing. You didn't have any deal yet, but I remember thinking in my head, I'm like, well, you're definitely getting a deal as long as you do that stuff. I'm working with a guy in California right now who's actually marketing in our area. Every time I talk to him, he's marketing here in our area. He has every lead, much like you guys do, every lead with a full analysis, every part of the conversation, you know, all the details. And I'm like, there's no doubt in my head you're getting deals. That's it. There's no doubt at all. If you keep doing like that, keep doing the marketing, keep doing the follow-up, there's zero doubt as long as you actually do it. And so for you guys who actually did it, I mean, congratulations. Because I was telling everybody, we're going to go over it again today, because I keep stressing to people, I'm like, if you do it, it works. You just have to do the stuff. And so congratulations on actually doing it. One other thing I wanted to speak about is this new direct mail company. How many people are actually using them so far? 1, 2, okay, 5 of you. Well, you haven't actually sent out with them yet. So I want to ask everybody, not just, I know a few of your results. I have been having unbelievable results with them. And I want to ask, so there's 5 of you, so I'm going to actually go through with you, if you don't mind, one at a time, to tell me how it's doing for you, because it's been crushing it. Like, I don't know why it's doing so good, but I just know it is. We're getting more leads than anything else. Everybody I know who's using it is like, well, I'm on appointment. So I'm going to start off. You said you're using it?
Yeah.
How much have you spent so far, and how many leads did you
Ours
get?
went out just a couple of days ago, we got 2 leads already, and I
How much did we spend, he asked?
think we spent 7,000,
So over a course of how long?
3 months.
Over 3 months, okay. So all that went out so far is going to be about $700 worth, $750.
About
We did.
1,500.
Yeah, we did a postcard, a letter postcard.
Okay, so 3 per month, 7,000 over 3 months, so, okay, gotcha. And so you've gotten, so it came out about 2 days ago, you've already gotten 2 leads that you're working from it. Who else was on it, Kirk and Tammy, you guys did it, and how much have you spent, how many leads, how many buys or anything?
We're running to 2,800 people, $6,000 over the course of 3 months. So that's 3 mailers, same thing, postcard, big letter, postcard. Postcard hit last Wednesday, and I've probably gotten a dozen calls since then.
Did you do the text thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's the combination of calls and texts. I've got probably a dozen. And I went on one appointment, another guy, I haven't been able to get into the house yet, but I actually sent 2 contracts today, so we'll
Wow.
see how it goes.
Who else
I
is?
like it better than the velocity.
I think so too, and I like it for a lot of, I mean, I love Velocity. The big reason we love Velocity is because it forced you to do it consistently. That's been my only fear when you're in control, is that you don't do it. That's my fear, is that you're like, okay, well, we're good for 3 months, and you're not gonna think about it again until the 4th month, which means you get nothing in between, and then you decide to do it, and now it's another month till it comes out. You know what I mean? And so it's not stable. That's why you have to put it on your own calendar and make sure that you know it's gonna end, and so you keep it going.
There's a lot more flexibility.
Exactly.
To how, what, where, why,
Ab-
when you see.
absolutely.
Versus velocity, it's this area,
Right.
this city, we're going for this, we're going broke on everything.
And we got the texting, which both of our.
The texting seems awesome, yeah. Who else is on it so far?
So mine's actually a funny story. So, I did the same thing that these 2 guys are doing. And last week when you did your podcast, you said, man, these guys are crushing it, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, shit, I'm not getting anything. I haven't gotten anything. So I called Ryan up today and explained to him what's going on. And he said, well, let me check you out. So it turns out that out of 2,500 cards, 500 of them were duplicates. So that put an automatic freeze on the account. So I called them today, so we've got all that rectified, so they're supposed to get mailed out for the first time later this week.
Good thing you were paying attention and
So,
called, yeah.
But it was like, after hearing what you said, like, these guys are killing it, I'm like, man, I'm not getting shit.
So my first month, I only spent $1,000 when I was first trying them, and got 1 deal, made $15,000 on. And then the second month, I spent $3,000, I only got 1 deal, made $40,000 on. And I'm like, when you do the math, I'm like, I'm not getting a ton of deals, mind you, I'm getting good leads, but the deals I'm getting are good deals. And so I'm like, I just feel like we just can't beat it. Who else was on it? Somebody else, was that you in it?
I raised my hand, but it hasn't gone out.
Yours hasn't gone out yet. You have it?
I already had one mailing in the beginning of January. I got about 7 appointments out of it, out of $600 spent.
$600,
It
okay.
wasn't that. It was only about 1,200 leads.
Wow, that's fantastic. Fantastic. All right, well, anyway, so whoever is interested in direct mail and is not on it, text me and I'll text you a link that's 10% off. I think, and I'm pretty correct, you guys that did 3 months in advance, correct me if I'm wrong, from what he was telling me, he's not just doing 10% on your first order, he's doing it like for the whole thing, yeah, so it's,
He also said if we rerun that same mail list, I think that discount continues.
yep, that's kind of a big deal, because it's a lot.
And also for you, they're not charging the credit card fee, the
Right.
3% credit card fee.
Yeah,
That's
Oh,
correct.
fantastic, I wasn't even aware of that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
All right, well, that's good stuff. All right, so anybody that wants it, I put it out a bunch of times already, but just text me if you don't already have it, and I'll send you the link. Make sure you get the 10% off with it. The other thing I wanted to mention before we get into what we're going to talk about is the market right now is, I'm sure you guys know, is absolutely insane. And there's good and bad with insane market, but the big good part is it opens us up to more creative strategies. You have the option to be more creative because